Hi, guys, and welcome to Season 1, Episode 21 of the UK Cowboys TV show. I am your host, Lauren, and tonight I'm joined by my fellow co-host, Mike Poland. Hello, Mike. And also the fantabulous Brian Gaynor. Reckon those Longhorns tonight, Brian?
Yes, just for our Texas A&M, buddy.
It's all right. My flag will be back soon. It's on its way. Can't wait for my flag to come back. It's an exciting time. But our show, right, if it was in years and is in America, it's legally allowed to drink now.
Yes,
there we go.
Yeah. And this was one night none of us are drinking either.
I know, yeah.
What are the odds?
Is Mike not on the pina coladas?
No, I'm on orange juice.
Just missing the umbrella.
Munch too, Del boy. Munch too.
So we're having to crack out the jokes early because, let's be honest, in Cowboys land, it's pretty depressing right now.
Well, that's what we tried to do on a post-game show. We called it The Great Evening.
Yeah. So tonight we thought we'd have a prayer circle, all hold hands, sing Kumbaya, and hate the Eagles.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah. Amen. So really, there's not too much positivity in terms of injury news of the Cowboys. So earlier this week, Tyrone Crawford has now been placed on IR. I mean, it's been pretty obvious he hasn't been right all season. That hip injury, tried to play through it early game, but not to be. So he's off to have surgery. The Cowboys have brought in Justin Hamilton, defensive tackle, to take his roster spot. I don't know if either of you know much about him.
Undrafted.
Never heard of him.
2015, he's bounced between teams, one of them being the Eagles.
Oh, okay. I know was he with the Chiefs most recently? Is it so?
I think so, yeah. He went Chiefs. I'm trying to remember how it went now. I can't remember off the top of my head. I know he's been with the Seahawks as well. There's another team, but I haven't really dug too deep into him. I just go on what serves.
I'm not. I mean, I don't know how much he's going to do, this week, but any assistance right now.
I'm just going to say, it makes you wonder though, with that pickup, is that more depth or that they don't feel completely sure about Tristan Hill?
Well, it could be both, couldn't it? Because I mean, it's concerning the way we've been playing through the middle, and Tristan still hasn't been able to come in and make an impact. It's a big worry, isn't it? I think
it's a bit strange.
Yeah.
So also practices earlier today in Dallas, and it's not a good read when you look at those missing practice today. Included Cobb, Cooper, Byron Jones, Anthony Brown, Zach Martin, Joe Looney, all missed practice today. The four major concerns, Tyrone Smith, Lyle Collins, who both did actually do a bit of individual work, but also Cobb and Cooper. So they're four major players off of our offense, really, aren't they?
Yeah.
Tyrone, Lyle, sounds like they'd be the most likely to come back, possibly. I think Tyrone probably the most out of the two. But with it being the bye week afterwards, I mean, where do you guys sit in terms of them coming back?
It's a tricky one because you don't want to bring, especially Tyrone Smith, because he is your crown jewel of that offensive line. You don't want to bring him back too early because it was a high ankle sprain. So it's a bit iffy there. Lyle Collins, to be honest with you, I'd be happy to leave him out another week because Brandon Knight's been playing all right. He's been holding his own over.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm on the fence with Tyrone Smith.
Yeah. I mean, it just seems to be, I don't know, is it a Cowboys thing? We've had quite a few questions from different people in the mailbag this week asking if the Cowboys need to look at that left tackle spot in the draft. But
that has come up a lot.
I mean, is this issue in terms of Tyrone being so good that when he's out, it's such a drop-off? Or there seems to be something fundamentally wrong with the Cowboys in that we lose one player and everything capitulates. Obviously we're missing a lot more players at the moment, but this is a time and time again with the Cowboys. We lose Tyrone Smith and all hell breaks out.
I don't know if you want to take it, Bri, but because I got a bit of a long spiel on that one.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think we did look at this in some of the preseason shows, and we said, right, who is the one player we cannot do without on offense? And I'm not sure if it was myself or it was one of you guys that called this, and I said, or it was Tyron Smith, because you just can't have a situation like Chaz Green again coming in. Speaking with my Longhorns hat on, the fact that they just seem so hesitant to even put Connor Williams, who is a left tackle in college, who is an All-American left tackle in college, out there. I mean, I don't know. I definitely think it's something they should look at in the draft, because Cam Fleming, you're paying him $4 to $5 million a year. It's just not working. He's not come in and done enough. And I think we kind of highlighted this even last year that, if he was that good, why would the New England Patriots let him go? And it's something they do need to address, I think, but it's how you address it. And then the other side of it is Tyron Smith is the best left tackle in a generation. I think even saying the best left tackle at present is being unflattering to him. He's the best left tackle in a generation. So you're going to have a huge drop off, no matter who it is. But you need to start supporting Cam Fleming and getting him a tight end there, getting him the double blocks with Connor Williams as well, and just avoiding pressure off that left side, because Dax, I think I saw this in the not the Jets game, the game before, in the Packers game. Dax seemed to see ghosts on his left side, and it was just like Chaz Green was there again.
Yeah, I mean, I'd never ever felt last year that Dak had ever recovered from that Falcons mauling.
Yeah,
I mean, he was just hearing footsteps and all sorts, wasn't he, for game after game after game. I don't know.
Yeah, sorry, mate.
Carry on.
No. I was saying that, talking of Dak's big hit. I mean, he was taking some big hits last week from the Jets. I mean, there was there was even one where he was on the floor for a little bit, grabbing the back, and I was thinking, wow, this guy's taking a pummeling. But in terms of our O-line, I may as well ask you this, because we was talking about it on one of the shows, the post-game show, that with the O-line, of all the position groups, if you like, the O-line is probably the most cohesive, if you like, where you want, when you look at it, there's 5 guys on that offensive line. And then, your wide receivers, your running backs, your defensive, those 5 guys are on the field all the time. It's only those 5 guys. And, with Tyron Smith, Cam Fleming, Brandon Knight, Lyle Collins, whatever, and, you were talking there with the other players, that when you start moving them around, is it not so much of an issue of the level of talent, but that they just don't know how to play with each other? It's a communication, different ways that they move at different speeds, what they're better and, what they're better at, worse at. Does that become more of a factor for the other guys, because they're trying to figure out not only what they can do with him, but what he can do with you? Yeah. If that makes any sense. What do you think, Lo?
Yeah, I mean, I'd certainly say that was more of an issue when we lost Frederick, because he is essentially the quarterback of the offensive line, calling the reads and everything. You'd think less so with Tyrone. Is it because we've Connor next to him needs a bit more guidance? But even before we had Connor Williams, we seem to just always have such a car crash every time we lose Smith, and he is superhuman. But we just can't be having this every time we lose this one guy,
I mean, it is a guy, mind you, that wears a knee brace as an elbow pad.
Well, yeah. I say I met Tyrone when I was in Dallas, and shaking his hand. I think we've got a picture actually of Jamie shaking his hand, and I mean his hand is would just pick up Jamie's head like it was a Satsuma. I mean, we'll have to get the picture and put it on the site, but it's just, it's ridiculous.
Well, kind of to go back to that point though that Mike made, I mean, about the guys not playing together or whatever. Doesn't Tyron take every Wednesday off anyway? So that should be the one day, he gets that veteran day. So that should be the one day where Fleming and Connor Williams are working together. They're getting all the snaps together. So this should be familiar, but then I suppose game pressure is totally different from practice.
Yeah. And it's like, are they all practicing together with the players who are on that team? Remember, they were all sort of moving about, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think on Tyron Smith anyway.
Yeah, so I mean, we've touched on the O-line into looking at the wide receivers. So if we were to be without Cobb and Cooper, we need Gallup to put some super glue on his gloves this week. Can't be having those drops again. And one thing I wanted to pick up: what has happened with Tony Pollard?
This is what
have they forgotten that he's on the roster, or in the last 3 games and the 3 losses, he's had 7 rushes for 32 yards. This is after a breakout game where he had over 100 yards against Miami. Do they not know he exists?
This is it. Like, why not, right? Cobb is out. So if that's the case, why not move Pollard to the slot? Or if you're not going to do that, play like, say, 21-man personnel or even 20 personnel, and then just put Pollard out into the slot. Move him out there. Use him as an extra receiver. I don't get it.
Stephen Jones spent all the off-season hyping Pollard up. You know, he was like Alvin Kamara, or they see him as so much more than just a running back, you know, just a guy. I just don't understand the logic in, you know, letting him fall off the planet, so to speak, especially like you say, get him in that slot role with Cobb out.
I mean, what are you going to lose?
Yeah. I don't know if you got any thoughts on that, Brian. Any wisdom on why he's not playing?
It defies logic. I mean, what was the point of drafting him? I mean, to be fair, he's been the only bright spot so far from this year's draft class. You know, like Tristan Hill hasn't contributed. He's been inactive 3 of 6 games. You know, Connor McGovern is out for the whole season. So Pollard's your next guy up, and they just don't seem to want to get him involved. Like, I agree. I mean, why not put him in the slot? Like, he played there for Memphis at times. Get him involved. I mean, the fact that we went last week with a wide receiving core of Cooper, who was clearly banged up, Gallup, Noah Brown and Cedric Wilson was just awful. I don't know who made that decision. And I kind of read something there just before we came on air, was why was Devin Smith inactive last week. Obviously, Cedric Wilson and Noah Brown contribute more on special teams, and that's why they were in. But if Cooper is out for Sunday, Smith is going to be in. But, I mean, you know, it's silly. It still doesn't explain why Pollard's not getting involved. Do you know, maybe there's something we're not seeing in practice, that he's not taking off in the way they hoped, and he's not fitting the scheme the way they hoped. But you got to give the guy some touches to at least show he can do something.
Yeah, that might be worth something, perhaps touching base with a few of our people in and around the team, just to see if they have any words of wisdom regarding Pollard. So on to the game of the season, really, Philadelphia Eagles. I'll just start off with good news: is the UK Cowboys flag will be in attendance. Ivan is there with Tracy, so it currently has a 100% win record when in the stadium. So that's it. Money on.
Let the omen continue. The omen will continue.
Between that, you know, I think Rich has given up on the lucky ball, so we're back to flag duty.
Yes.
I think. Yeah.
So we're heading into the game tied in the East, the NFC East, as we are seemingly back to being right now. What we made of the Eagles so far, I don't know if you've seen many of their games. They were very obviously hotly tipped for Super Bowl amongst many, which me and Brian shot down in one of the early shows.
Absolutely. I mean, looking at their record, they're 3-3. They've beaten the Redskins, and then the 2 teams we've lost to the Packers and the Jets,
which is bad.
Yeah, they went to the Falcons and lost a tight game. I don't know how they lost to the Lions. And then obviously they were blown out of it last week.
Yeah.
So had they one eye on us, but I mean, I definitely thought this talk of them going, they were absolute favourites for the Super Bowl was a joke. Nothing has shown me since that I was wrong in that. I still think it's a joke to think they're talk about them as a Super Bowl team. They're not. They're not even close.
No, I'm still with you on that. I mean, you look at their wins. Obviously, they blew out the Jets. They win by one touchdown against the Packers. Just lost to the Lions. Just lost to the Falcons. And actually only just lost to the Redskins. The Redskins were very much in that game.
Yeah.
Their defense made Case Keenum look good.
Yeah. I mean, the big thing is probably the remaining games. If you look at it, we've only got games against 2 losing teams with losing records at the moment. They've got 4 games against teams with losing records.
Yeah.
But have you seen who those teams are, right? This is where the Cowboys could bring it back, right? Because they've got the Bills and the Pats that both the Cowboys play. So if they lose to them and we win, we can start bringing it back. So when it comes, that tiebreaker, it could start to look pretty again for the Cowboys. I mean, the only issue is they've got the Bills, the Pats, and the Seahawks. But have you seen their run after that? It's like Miami, Redskins, Giants.
Yeah.
So they got a nice end of the season, where we're the other way.
Yeah, I think I saw a stat this week that we've got the toughest schedule now.
Yeah.
For the rest of the season. Which is why we had to win those opening 3 games. Losing to the Saints and the Packers probably on paper wouldn't have been a huge surprise to anyone. On paper alone, losing to the Jets, that was a surprise. Yeah. So how are we going to beat these Eagles?
Their secondary is not playing very well. If you look
to differ.
Well, I don't know. Look what Kirk Cousins done last week. Over 300 yards, 2 touchdowns for Stephon Diggs.
3.
I mean, they were lighting it up against our secondary. Yeah. And they are injured back there. They got a cornerback out. They've got some linebackers out. Ronald Darby. So they do have some of their key, or not key, but some quite specific players that are handy for them, especially in a position where they seem to be quite bad at the moment. In terms of the offense, they just got no weapons apart from Ertz and Goddard.
Yeah, but then they seems to have been like that for a long time, really. But they still managed to, which is why it's so frustrating with the Cowboys. You look at us certainly on paper, we've got a much more talented roster man for man, but putting it all together, isn't it, on a game week? So you beg to differ on the secondary front, Brian. Hit us with it.
I do, absolutely, and I think it's going to be ghosts of Cowboys past. They're going to haunt us at the weekend.
Skandrick
and Andrew Sandeo back at AT&T. Skandrick has a couple of sacks. He hasn't an interception. He's forced a couple of fumbles. He's returned one for 6.
I was going to say he took one back, didn't he?
Yeah. And then Sandeo has had a sack and an interception as well. They've seven interceptions on the season, 14 sacks. I think it was 7 fumbles as well. They're causing chaos, but a lot of that, to be fair to them, is coming from their linebacker core.
Yeah,
So I suppose you can be fair and say that they're getting the pressure and it's making things easier for their secondary to get those picks. But I don't know. I've been positive for the last 6 weeks, and I don't know, the weekend just seemed to knock it out of me.
Yeah.
One of the positive things, right, that I was looking at is the thing the Cowboys are bad at, which at the moment is stopping the run, is also something the Eagles are bad at in terms of being able to run the ball. Yeah. Jordan Howard is he's having a mare of a season, and their backup Miles Sanders. They're both not really very productive. I don't know the exact stats, but I know going off what I've seen, they're not really producing. So that's a good thing for us. And bear in mind, our secondary, as much as people say how bad it is, bar that 92 bomb we had last week against the Jets, our secondary actually went 13 quarters without allowing a touchdown.
I have a question here for this, right?
Yeah.
Looking back on that play, right? We went for it on 4th down, turned the ball over, and New York went down the field with a touchdown straight away. Why did we not kick a field goal?
I say they're worried about Maher.
Well,
yeah.
If it was another bloke in the situation.
Yeah.
Like I just was looking at it and going, why are we not kicking a field goal? It's
maybe if we were like 65 yards out, we might have gone for it, but
yeah. It's baffling, isn't it? It's mind-boggling.
Yeah. I mean, like if they're worried that much about him, why not put Jeff Heath on the short ones?
Yeah.
I mean, he can't do worse than him.
I mean, for an offensive-minded coach, which Jason Garrett's considered as, he's bloody single-minded and very negative normally. So for us to go for that, I'd say would be generally out of character for the way he plays the game. So surely, I mean, it's got to point to Maher there that they've got worries.
Yeah, I think that 4th down attempt, I know this is post-game, I think emotion got to him there. I think he was frustrated and pissed off. He's just like, right, sod it. Go for the 4th, go for it. I think he got to him. But another one, I was thinking, talking to Jeff Heath, right?
Yeah.
Because the Eagles play 12-man personnel, right? A hell of a lot. Because they do have 2 really good tight ends.
Yeah.
One of Dallas Goedert is one. I was actually saying that we were hoping to draft that, because with Jason Witten and everything.
Yeah.
So talking to Jeff Heath, I think the battle literally comes down to, for us beating him, is how well Heath beats Ertz. Because I think it's going to be on him. It's on Ertz.
Well, the thing is, like last year, it was actually Heath went to Ertz a lot. And Ertz, I know Ertz got a couple of big catches, but Heath held his own against him in Dallas, and they left Byron Jones, I think, picking up Goddard in that 12 personnel.
That's
Ertz was saying before, just before we came on, I just had a look, and Ertz was saying he's fully expecting Byron Jones to cover him for 3rd down every time, and that worries the hell out of me.
Yeah, I'd rather have Heath shadowing it.
Yeah, well, like Heath on tight end seems to work better than Heath in that free role in the middle.
That's going to be the key battle, I think. It's going to be them.
I mean, I sure hope Chris Richard has given them a shake-up this week.
Chris Richard needs a kick in the arse for himself. So he does.
Who's calling the defensive plays, though? Here's a sneaky one. Who's calling them? Do you think it's Chris Richard?
Well, apparently essentially he's a defensive coordinator, but not in title, isn't he?
See, this is the thing I don't get, right? He's apparently the passing game coordinator.
That's right, yeah.
On the offensive side of the ball, and then he's the defensive backs coach. So, I mean, that's kind of a very mixed signal for me. As to why he's doing that. Now, maybe I'm being stupid, but like, is he the defensive coordinator or is he not?
I don't know who it is who's making the defensive calls. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, it's hard to know because we're not in the headset.
Yeah. It's the same with the offense, isn't it? I mean, lots of people are saying, "Oh, Garrett's interfering with Kellen," but we don't know. They all come out and say it's a collaborative thing, but end of the day, they're all going to be singing from the same hymn sheet because they're all from the same school of thought, aren't they? In terms of if people say they want Garrett out, who on this current coaching staff are you going to promote? There's no one I feel comfortable with.
Yeah.
Oh, Chris Richard, he shouts a lot. Well, whoopie bloody do.
Yeah. I wouldn't have him as head coach anyway.
No.
Kellen, 6 games into a career as a coach?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's something else I saw during, I'm not sure if I saw it on Sunday night or I saw it during the week, but Witten's snap count it's gone up each game progressively, hasn't it?
I don't know. I'd have to check.
I think so. I mean, I was thinking about that. Is that because Garrett's concerned and he's trying to go to old reliable, someone he trusts, or?
I don't know. I mean, we kind of talked about this in the preseason, was what role is Witten going to have? If you look at the first 3 games, his snap count seemed to be lower.
Yeah.
And we were winning, and we were very dynamic. Witten seems to be in an awful lot more, and things are just going arseways. Now maybe it's just a case of Jarwin's not having the impact, and Schultz has just been an absolute waste.
Yeah.
Like, how he's surviving, I don't know. Because he adds nothing in the passing game, he adds nothing in the blocking game. He's given up penalties repeatedly. I mean, that's... I'm on a moan tonight.
Well, it's one of those nights, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was. I was having the same thought earlier, actually, about Witten. And is it not panic mode for Garrett, but is it because he thinks that, you know, he knows what he's got essentially in Witten, so he's doing that. I mean, it's not making any difference, is it? But
yeah, I think you're right, Loz. It does just seem to be the case that Witten is reliable, and you know what he's getting from Witten.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only explanation. But, you know, there's plenty of things around the Cowboys leaving me scratching my head at the moment.
With you there, man.
Yeah. Okay, so the key guys for the Eagles, who are we scared of the most on offense?
I think we've kind of covered Zach Ertz, but I know Mike kind of mentioned it there earlier in the rushing game that they're not great, and they're not. But I'd be concerned around Miles Sanders. Because he's sneaky. Yeah, like I was just looking at the numbers. So he's 199 rushing yards, no touchdowns, but he's also picked up 219 yards on the ground. He's averaging 16.8 yards and has a long play of 45 yards. So you're gonna have to watch out for him out of the backfield.
Yeah.
You know, and then obviously we've talked about Zach Ertz.
I mean, for me, who always scares me is Deshaun Jackson. It doesn't seem to matter what team he plays for. I mean, I'm not sure on his health if he's available
to play. It sounds like, mate.
But he always frightens me. He's like another Golden Tate, isn't he? He's just one of those guys who
just so rapid.
Yeah.
I think on offense on the Eagles side is, for me, I think it's gonna have to be Wentz.
Yeah.
He's the guy, only because just like he's one of them guys where when he's on the field he's good, he's just oft injured. He's in terms of the draft rankings of that year. I mean, I'm going to go homerism and say Dak is number 1, but Wentz is right behind him. And
Oh, I mean, a healthy Wentz, you know, I'd say is ahead of Dak, but he's obviously now he's just kind of like ticking over, isn't he? I think rather than having that real flash of talent that he had.
He has slipped down. I mean, just looking at just like this basic accuracy percentage, he's 61% and Dak 69. So, you know, I'll tell you all you need to know.
Yeah.
Flip the chart then. So on defense, who are we scared of?
Brandon Graham.
Yeah.
I think on defenses, they're 2 pass rushers, Derek Barnett and Brandon Graham. They've totaled 6 sacks together. So
6, that's it.
And most of them as well have come in the last 2 games.
Yeah.
So, you know, the beginning of the season's the same for everyone. It's slow, it's clunky. You know, you're getting warmed up, and now they seem to be warming up and getting into it now.
Yeah. I mean, for me, Fletcher Cox is always a frightening prospect. He's a big guy. Certainly, Zach Martin and Cole know they've been in a game when they come up against him.
Yeah. And ironically, he's the sort of guy that we actually need on our defensive line.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, if you told me I could take any player from the Eagles and put them into our team, I think it'd be him hands down. But if I had to. After I'd washed him in bleach and, you know, rubbed my hands.
Brainwashed him.
Yeah.
And you've got a bigger reason to hate the Eagles' defense since I beat you in fantasy with them.
All right. Okay. Yeah. I had to let you have one. I don't know why Sam's gesticulating at me. Something. What Cox got to do with you? Nothing, he said.
Okay.
Okay, Cowboys. Who are our danger men on offense this week? Who's our game running through? Who do we need that razzmatazz from?
21. It's got to be 21. The whole game plan has got to go through 21 this week.
God, it feels like we've been saying that for many a week now on the pre-game show.
Yeah, it does. I mean, it's if you've Cooper out, I mean, everyone's going to key off Zeke anyway. And I've been waiting for a couple of weeks for Zeke to just break a 40 or 50 yard run, and I think it has to be this week. He just always seems to do something against the Eagles in Dallas. You know, he breaks through gets through the linebackers and into the secondary, hurdles someone. I'd just love to see something like that in the first quarter. You know, it doesn't have to be a touchdown, just a spark and just get us going. You know,
I mean, how important do we feel that a fast start would matter this week?
Very good. Be very handy.
Yeah.
Because then we can just control it, like you say, with Zeke.
Yeah.
But that actually ties in quite nicely with my guy on the offense. With Amari out, I think the main guy's got to be Gallup. He's got to be catching them balls against our secondary and scoring. Needs to be a wide receiver one because he wasn't last week. He needs to be one this week. If he does that, Dak elevates his game. And then, like you were saying, you know, you get a nice fast start. You control the ball. You control the game. The game runs through Zeke then.
Yeah.
What about you? Who are you thinking?
Certainly Zeke, and like we were touching on earlier, I'd love us to give Pollard an opportunity in that slot role. You know, let's just try something different. You know, because that's, I think, in those first 3 games, it was the variety that probably surprised everyone. You know, a number of players that were getting touches. We've just been it's back to Linehan, isn't it? You know, that predictable style playbook. Yeah. I think I saw a stat in I don't know if it was the last game or the last 3, we've run for over 70% on our first plays, which is it's Linehan, isn't it, all over again.
Yeah. And, you know, it's even running on third down, you know, like long third down, 3rd and 11. And you've got Zeke running, you know,
and that's fine if we want to eat up clock, but when we're behind by 2 scores, it's no good.
Exactly.
Okay, over on defense side, we touched on it briefly. So we think secondary. Anyone in particular for you guys that needs to step up?
Step up.
Step up, yeah.
I think there's plenty of them, isn't there?
I would say probably. I want to see Awuzie creating less penalties. Just get into the catch point rather than create. Make a play on the ball and make a play on the man. Don't draw the flag.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd agree. I like my pick was going to be Byron Jones. I want to see Byron Jones from last year. You know, that guy that we were talking about going, my God, we've a shutdown corner. We have one at last. That you're going, right, I'm happy. I know I've someone going and taking their best player out of the game. He hasn't been like that. I mean, the guy he's 10 games possibly left with us. He's looking and going, where am I getting a contract next season?
That's what I was going to ask next. You know, are we paying him at this rate?
Yeah. They'll be paying him a lot less than they would have been paying if they re-signed him last year.
Yep.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I want to see someone has to step up in that defensive tackle spot this week. We have to stop. All right, the Eagles aren't, you know, a huge danger on the run, but we've got to start getting some pressure there, because I think aren't Quinn and Tank 2 of the most double-teamed players? They're both in the top 10 of double-teamed players in the league. You know, people are criticising Tank, but he's drawing all the attention. So someone else has to step up and do something, and we're just getting no pressure at all from that in the middle.
It's a pain.
It's very concerning, like, because I mean, I think with Tyron going to IR, I think he played his last game for the Cowboys.
Yeah,
you know, and to be fair to Tyrone, like he you know, he could play defensive end, he could play defensive tackle and be a nuisance. But with him out, you know, Malik Collins started well, but he's regressed again back to that. You know, he's okay, but I mean, whoever is in charge come free agency in the draft has got to look at a £300+ monster.
I mean, how many consecutive drafts now have we been saying that though?
I know, yeah.
As long as I've known you guys, and I think that's about 4 or 5 years at this stage. You know,
is this Marinelli? Is it his thing? Then do we think? You know, I mean, surely, you know, everyone seems to be crying out for it, except for the Cowboys themselves, apparently.
Yeah. Like, it just seems to hark back to this thing, and I mean, we all watch the draft show, and every year we talk about we need a monster at defensive tackle, we need a safety, and every time Broadus turns around and tells us this team doesn't value defensive tackle, they don't value safeties.
No, they don't.
You know, and it's Jesus, guys, someone's got to change the record. I mean, you know, we can't just keep relying on someone coming in. Yeah. You know, so if it is a case of there's a whole coaching shake-up coming in the off-season, maybe that'll be a change of mind.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so that's all of our guys. Okay, let's have our hot picks for the week.
Okay.
A hot pick can be anything. It could be a score prediction, a touchdown score, an interception, an outcome, just what you think may or may not happen.
This is a hot take. Brett Maher doesn't miss a single kick.
Were you reading my mind?
Yeah. Is that what you was going to say?
Yeah.
That because we don't let him kick, Jeff Heath takes them. We just always go for 2.
Yeah. Pittsburgh Steelers style.
Yeah.
What are we thinking? Brett Maher with a walk-off field goal? I'd take it, absolutely.
Do you remember the days where I don't think I ever used to watch Dan Bailey kick because I used to go and get another drink or because it was you know, money.
It's true.
Update Facebook, see what's going on in the world.
Yeah.
But it's a sneaky one, right? I actually found this out today, just so, you know, like general perusal, right? But Dallas, right, has beaten Eagles twice in a row at Dallas, only twice in 20 years.
Oof.
And I was like, wow, now there's a spooky omen. But flag is there, so that might cancel that out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we've won the last 3, haven't we, against the Eagles? But that's across venues.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going for a very low-scoring game this week. Not as bad as the 6-0 that we had a few years back. 17-13 to one of the teams. I don't know. Yeah. I could see it going either way.
Yeah, no, I can see that. Becoming quite a defensive struggle.
Yeah.
Right. I'm going to go slightly different to that. I'm going to go 28-24. I reckon Zeke is going to get 2 touchdowns. And I reckon Brett Maher is going to make all his kicks. And Jordan Lewis is going to get an interception.
Oh, we've said that every week.
It seems to be the only reliable one that we can get.
But
I'm not going to make my normal prediction if someone gets a pick 6 and returns it.
Well,
so hopefully that'll take that out and they'll actually do it this weekend.
Yeah. It's an early game, isn't it? Well, early in terms of early hours of the morning.
Yeah.
1:20.
Sunday into Monday.
It is.
So Mike will be back with the post-game crew Monday, Tuesday, maybe?
Probably Tuesday. Because everyone will be asleep probably come the finish of work. But we'll see how everyone feels. We'll see how
might be hyped up after a blowout win. The flag is down.
Yeah. Might be really, really excited and want to do it straight away.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe do it at 4 or 5 o'clock Monday morning, see who's available.
On your way to work.
like all the people who watch in America be like, what's wrong with these guys? They got like these massive bags under their eyes. They look like the Emperor from Star Wars.
I say the British all have bad teeth and eye bags, apparently. So.
Yeah.
So yeah, join Mike and a couple of the guys then for hopefully what will be a very positive post-game show. So 1:25 Sunday night, well, Monday morning. Those of you who can't cope with the 24-hour clock are many, I know. And we are UK Cowboys, the #1 fan group in the UK for the Dallas Cowboys. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, everywhere we will follow you. Go Cowboys, beat them Eagles, dilly dilly.
Let's beat Philly.